on CBS Sports.
Yep.
So
I think
CBS
that
Sports, what does that mean? Who's in control of that?
It's just the sports media. That's all. The network CBS Sports, and I would flip. I'm not ready to put Shea ahead of James yet.
LeBron. Okay, LeBron. Yeah, LeBron James. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not ready to put Shea ahead of James yet. I'm also having a tough time with Anthony Davis out the top 10.
13. They got Shea over AD already.
Yeah, they got Shea over AD. They got Shea over James. I'm not ready to put Shea over. I'm cool with I thought Damian Lillard would play himself back into the top 10. If James is a top 10 player, he's 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he still is a top 10 player, he's 10.
Right. Yeah,
so
hard.
I think the list is pretty accurate.
What about Paul George? You like Paul George being top 20 still?
I do. I still like Paul George. I can't name 20 players better than him. I can't. I tell you what, though.
Does Brandon Ingram feel snubbed?
I don't think Brandon Ingram. I don't know if Brandon Ingram is snubbed, but I do think that Jaylen Brown is snubbed. 100%. I believe.
Jaylen Brown's not on this list.
Jaylen Brown should be on here.
Wow.
I do believe Jaylen Brown should be on here.
Wow. I just realized that.
Mm-hmm. I have a difficult time with a dude that's got the best record, second best record in the NBA, and he's 26-7. And Big Ox, what you'll hear is a lot of people saying stuff like, "Well, those stats are inflated because of the game today." Even if that's true, I mean, 26-7 on the second best team in the league, and you ain't a top 20 player? Nah.
Can you pick out somebody that you take off this top 20, or does he just go in and you just knock Bam out, or do you have somebody else? If you don't mind, real quick, Chilltown. I mean, it's 20 names. I'll read them down real quick just so if anybody doesn't. Mm-hmm. So top 10 is Jokic, Giannis, Steph, Luka, KD, KD at 5. Ooh. Joel 6, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, and Dame Lillard. That's the top 10.
That's the top 10 right there.
At 11, we go SGA, LeBron, AD, Ja, Kawhi, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, Jamal Murray, De'Aaron Fox, Bam Adebayo.
So the top 10, I think KD is a little high at 5. I'm flipping him and Jason Tatum. I'm moving Jason Tatum to 5. KD has, as good as KD has been in terms of his game, he's been injured a lot, just like Kawhi Leonard. He's broken down, and he has not. If you're gonna tell me that Kevin Durant is a top 5 talent in the league, I'm good with that. I got no issue with that. With Kevin Durant being still a top 5 player in the league, considering how much he's been in and out of the lineup, I think the last 4 years since 2020, I think he's averaged 47 games. That's barely half the season. Big Ox, if we was talking football and Tom Brady played 8 of the 16 games, Tom Brady ain't a top 5 quarterback. We ain't doing that with Brady. We're not doing that with Brady. Same thing in baseball. If a dude played half the season, we're not putting that dude in the top 5. That's the same logic that I got with Kawhi Leonard. And we're talking about a dude, I think Kawhi averaged 47 games, something like that, or 52 games. That's barely half the season.
Chilltown, you said you just told me that CBS Sports. You said it's a sports media that made this top 20 list. Right. I think the sports media are really downplaying Jaylen Brown's ability based on and it's solely based on saying he has a weak left hand. That's all. That's the only thing I can hear about Jaylen Brown. That's the only thing I've heard about Jaylen Brown to discredit his game is that he has a weak left hand.
And that's every guy,
people are riding that weak left hand.
And everybody though, Big Ox got weaknesses in their game, right? James had a weakness. His mid range wasn't that good. He improved on it, and that still didn't stop me in particular from saying that he was the best player in the game when he was improving his mid range. You got a bunch of different guys who have weaknesses in their game, and because these dudes have weaknesses in their game, that doesn't take out I don't think that those weaknesses are that glaring where that completely eliminates them. I mean, Jaylen Brown averaged 26 and 7 on a team that had the second best record in the NBA. Right. So if you telling me that Jaylen Brown isn't a top 20 player, right? If you're telling me that Jaylen Brown isn't a top 20 player, shouldn't that enhance Jason Tatum? Because we basically have the second best record in the league, and I've improved every year. In the process of me improving every year, I had a career year this year, and I did it without a top 20 player. What does that say about how good Jason Tatum is? I think that would put him ahead of Kevin Durant.
I definitely can agree with that. I mean, that logic, it definitely makes sense.
I had a better regular season. We went further in the playoffs, and that was on the strength of me playing the way that I played. So wouldn't I think that would enhance Jason Tatum's logic of him being a top 5 player? Now I can appreciate the logic of a guy being a top 5 talent. I would never question whether or not KD has the goods. The problem that I'm having is your availability is your best ability. And if you only play barely half the season, and I'm putting you up against dudes like Jason Tatum who are playing well past half the season and they're producing at a high level, I can't look at you like I look at them from a production standpoint, because half the time you ain't around.
Yeah, I see also they have Jokic at 1 and Jamal Murray at 18.
Jamal Murray at 18, I think, is a little bit high. I think he had a great playoff run, and with him having a great playoff run, Big Ox, and them winning the NBA championship, this was supposed to be a transition year for him. He was coming off season-ending knee surgery, and this was supposed to be a transition year for him where he was basically getting his legs back under him, and they were going to be good. Winning the NBA championship, I'm not sure that was, or him playing at that level, in order for them to win the NBA championship, I'm not going to go that far in terms of them having those expectations, even though I did feel like they had the most complete team in the game. But with what he did, I think there is an argument for him being in the top 20. I'm not prepared to put him in the top 20 yet. Not yet.
Right.
Top 25, 100%. 100% top 25.
And after this season, do you see Anthony Edwards getting in this top 20?
He's another one that I think that he goes ahead of. There are guys that are on this list that I think could very well come off if Anthony Edwards does what I think he's going to do this season. Yeah, I could see him. Him and Jaylen Brown are two guys that I'm having a difficult time with the idea that there's 20 guys better than them, than those two guys. I mean, I know how good. Don't get me wrong, Big Ox. I know how much everybody loves Paul George. I know how much everybody loves Kawhi Leonard, because I think Kawhi Leonard, when he's healthy, he's a top 5. He's a top 5 player in the game. Problem is, he hasn't been healthy over the last. I think he was healthy twice over the last 4 years.
Right.
So twice over the last 4 years, man. I'm having a difficult time with that logic. I just am.
Are you surprised to see De'Aaron Fox on this list?
No, I'm not. To be honest with you, I'm not. And I think De'Aaron Fox, like how I felt about Damian Lillard last year going into the season, I felt like Dame would play himself back into the top 10. I feel like Fox is going to play himself into the top 20, maybe even the top 15.
I'm looking at this, and I honestly think he should be swapped with Ja Morant.
I already think he's better than Ja, to be honest with you. I had him ahead of Ja. I had him ahead of Ja last year. I had him ahead of Ja going into this season, and I got him ahead of Ja going into this season too. So,
well, actually, I would, because I don't like that either, because Donovan Mitchell at 16. I think Donovan Mitchell should be 14 instead of 16. De'Aaron should be 16 instead of 19, and Ja should be 19 instead of 14.
So
I look at it. Those three just flip it out.
That's
because I don't think De'Aaron's better than Donovan Mitchell yet.
I think he's on the doorstep. I don't think he's that far away from Donovan Mitchell. I do think he's on the doorstep.
I think he could be. I'm just not ready to say it yet. I need to just see a little bit more. A couple more, yeah.
See a little bit more. I can get with that. I'm flipping Jason Tatum with KD. I'm flipping AD with Shea. I wish I could say that I'm ready to put James, I'm not prepared to put Shea ahead of James yet, but I do think that they're close. I really do. I'm having a difficult time with a guy that's 38 years old, and this young kid. Am I taking him over James? Would I take him over James today? It would be hard not to, man. This kid is he's on the trajectory of being fantastic. So I'm having a real difficult time. Even though James averaged 38. He averaged 29 a game. I'm still having a difficult time. I'm not prepared to put James ahead of him just yet. I'm not.
So on right here, I'm seeing LeBron James still above Anthony Davis. I want to bring this Lakers fan in here and see does Laker Nation agree that LeBron James is still better than Anthony Davis?
I think a lot of Lakers fans think LeBron is better than AD. Is he better than AD? No. But I think
not
Lakers
today.
Fans,
not today.
No, not today. He's not better than AD. I think a lot of Lakers fans, they look at LeBron as the number one guy and the leader of the team and the guy who may take the most shots, on the team and has the ball the most of the time because he's a primary playmaker and initiated offense. But from what they produce for the Lakers, Anthony Davis, his rebounding, his defense, and he had a great year last year. And LeBron, he doesn't have the same motor defensively. His jump shot wasn't there last season, and I feel like they may be 1A, 1B, but I put AD as a 1A, honestly, and I think AD.
Desto, can we be honest? And you know me, Desto, I'm a James guy, but can we be honest? Yo, he old, man.
He old as dirt.
Come on, man. If we being honest about it, James is old. And James is as good as James is. Aaron Rodgers proved it. Aaron Rodgers reminded us that 39 years old is ancient.
That hurt my heart when I see him go down. Man,
39 years old in professional sports is ancient.
Yeah.
That is not something where you looking at a guy going, yo, you still got the goods. At any point, especially at that age, you're dealing with dudes on a year-to-year basis. James is still good, but the idea that, he still is better than this guy and this guy, I will say that he's better than 90% of the guys in the league, but when you're talking about guys like Anthony Davis, nah.
Because me, I may overrate AD. I think AD borderline top 5 to me. And I think LeBron, I think I'm with you, OG. I think LeBron is more in that 9, 10, 11, 12 range.
That's what I think he at. But, if you got him anywhere between 9 and 12, I'm straight with that.
Yeah, but I got AD borderline top 5, maybe top 5. I don't know. But that's why
I got a difficult time with having Anthony Davis outside the top 10, considering Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Considering Anthony Davis, there can be an argument made that he's the best defensive player in the world. So the fact that he didn't make the All-League defensive team when Rudy Gobert in 2020, I think it was either 2018 or 2021, one of them 2 seasons where Rudy Gobert played 56 games and he won the Defensive Player of the Year. Anthony Davis played 56 games and he didn't make the All-League defensive team, even though he led the league in rebounding for the amount of games that he played. He's the anchor on that defense, which in the second half, after the trade deadline, they had, including the playoffs, they had the best defense in the league. Well, they got smoked in the playoffs. Yeah, they don't get as far as they got without Anthony Davis as a defender. So I'm having a difficult time with naming 10 players better than Anthony Davis.
And it's upsetting because, and that's why I don't let those all defense and all NBA and defensive player of the years determine who I think is better, because Jaren Jackson won defensive player of the year. AD played more minutes than him this season.
He did. Yes, he did.
Like Jaren Jackson can't even play 30 minutes a game because he might foul out. Stephen Curry made an All NBA team and LeBron made an All NBA team, and AD played more games than them. So it's all about like the media narrative around you. They're gonna say, "Oh, AD can't make it because he played this many games and whatever." Well, you put this guy on the All NBA team, and you gave this guy a Defensive Player of the Year award, and AD played more than them. So yeah, I think it's so weird, but yeah, like you said, I think AD is the best defensive player in the game. Like honestly, I think it's the top three to me. I think it's AD, I think Draymond, and I got Bam up there. Honestly,
yeah.
That's
between in terms of Anthony Davis being the best defensive player in the world. I think it's between him and Evan Mobley. Those are my two guys.
Mobley is a beast too. Not gonna lie,
those are my two guys.
Yeah.
Sir.
All right, that's so. I just wanted to get a Lakers perspective.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, sir. Oh, and just real quick to answer the title of the thing, the next MVP will be a Laker. It don't matter who. It could be Austin Reeves, AD, D'Angelo Russell.
That's so. Just say AD. Maybe Brown. Just say AD and maybe Brown.
I'm gonna say this, and everybody gonna call me crazy. AD gonna be one of the. I think the second player maybe to pull the trifecta, the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and the Finals MVP.
You think AD got that in him?
He got it in him. I swear to God, he got it in him. I swear to God, he got it in him. Don't make me look like a fool, AD.
So he gonna do what Olajuwon did in '94.
Okay, OG, think about it. Who in the league today can do that? Just think about it. I think Giannis is a guy that can do it. And who else? Like maybe Embiid if he isn't lazy. But I'm saying like, bro, who in the league can pull that off, bro?
I think AD and Giannis are probably the only ones.
Yeah. And I'm a Lakers fan, so I don't care. They probably
I'll tell you what, boy, if he pulled that off, a lot of yapping would stop. That would shut a lot of yapping up. I'll tell you that for a fact. A lot of yapping, a lot of mouths would be closed.
Fact.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, so
a lot.
You said.
Good take. What's that called? That's called the trifecta. Is there? Because what do they call that in football? What Cooper Cup just did? The
Triple Crown.
Right. Just like kind of like horse racing. Is that what they call it in basketball too?
Yeah.
So then that'd be
Olajuwon is the only guy that I know who did it. Won the league MVP, was the Defensive Player of the Year, and won the Finals MVP. Did it in '94.
I think AD and Giannis probably the most likely ones to be able to pull something like that off.
That would shut a lot of yapping up, Big Ox. I tell you that.
Definitely would. Chill town. Let's get into this list. Let's. So for everybody that's not watching, what we have in front of us is Chill's 2023-2024 award predictions for this upcoming NBA season.
Yeah.
I have on here Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, the champions, and also the Finals MVP. I didn't put the Clutch Award. I didn't put the Eastern Conference MVP. I didn't do that. I don't know if you're interested in if you want me to, I can put that in, but
we can talk about it as we go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can talk about it as we go.
Okay, right on. Well, let's get that Coach of the Year out the way. We'll take it slow. We still got time.
Well, it's two coaches, Big Ox, and of those two coaches, they're young guys. So one of them is Coach Mark. I got to make sure I get his name right. Diagnol.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Mark Diagnol from Oklahoma City. I'm high on Oklahoma City this year. I think they make the playoffs outright. I think they're a top 6 seed in the Western Conference. I think they're going to be much better than a bunch of other teams. I think that they have the talent. I think Chet's going to bring something defensively that's going to make them a lot better than what they were last season. I like the coach. I like his rotations. I like how he uses Lou Dort more than anything. I like how he uses Lou Dort, not just defensively in terms of switching. I like how he uses Lou Dort offensively. Now, Lou Dort needs to be able to knock down an open shot, but I'd like to see him do that. It was between Coach D and JB Bickerstaff, because I dig what they're doing up in Cleveland. They're on their way to doing something, Big Ox. Yeah. I do feel like that. I feel like they're on their way to doing something serious. So I'm gonna go with Coach D. I'm gonna go with Coach D from Oklahoma City. For my most improved,
okay, yeah.
For my most improved. That's not a difficult one for me, Big Ox. And the reason why it's not a difficult one for me is because this dude's been climbing the ladder, and I think that's Anthony Edwards. I think he makes a jump this season. I think he's on the all-league defensive team, and I think that he makes the all-NBA team this year too. I think he plays well enough.
For Anthony Edwards to get the most improved player, it would have to be a hell of a season, Chill.
Mm-hmm.
It will have to be a hell of a season. Like you said, all-NBA, a defensive team, step the average up, maybe 3 points.
Yep.
Get a couple more assists, stat-wise, it'd have to look better, effort-wise, leadership-wise, getting, that's a hell of a campaign. I'm excited to see something like that.
Well, I seen him over the summer. Don't get me wrong. Everybody is talking about the FIBA World Championships, and it was a disaster. But I've seen the strides with this kid, and I've seen how much better he's gotten, how much more he improved over this last season. And to be honest with you, that 25 a game that he averaged last year, I think that 25 could go up to 28, 29. I believe that could easily happen.
Okay. Well, just to remind y'all, so far we got Chill's 2023-24 NBA season award predictions. So far, we have Coach of the Year, Coach Mark D from OKC, who was in a close race with Coach Bickerstaff in Cleveland, but Coach D won it out. Most improved player, we got Anthony Edwards. That's I can see that. That's all right. That's all right. Let me before we get to a couple more guys in the back, let me read a couple of these super chats. We have first from a pimp named Slickback. Fellas, NFL, my Giants made a mistake. Year one of a rebuild, we should have built up the offensive line and taken our time. We overpaid and gave Jones $40 million a year, and we have holes all over this roster. We will regress.
You might, man. I'm looking at that roster and I'm looking at that team. I'm not going to overreact because it's 1 week. I'm even though 40-0 is bad, but to be honest with you,
insane.
Daniel Jones was running for his life the entire night, and I know that Dallas defense is damn good. I do know that, but Daniel Jones was running for his life, and that offensive line is terrible. I know the Giants defense is good. I ain't gonna fight that part, but that was bad.
Yeah, I got ugly.
Yes.
From Brandon Dawkins. Why the Celtics won't go away from JB, even when his handle is suspect and turnover assist ratio is so bad?
If they're going away from him, what's the alternative? Because you guys are quick to talk about how bad a guy is, but you won't replace him with somebody. Now, they basically built this unit from the ground up. Jaylen Brown is going into year 8. He's becoming all-pro. Right? His numbers have gone down slightly in the playoffs, but he's becoming all pro. The fact that you just want to go away from him, and I don't think that his handle is that bad. I think it's amateur, but it could be better. It's just slightly better and dumb it down. But in terms of him scoring, he's one of the elite scorers in the game. He's a solid defender. And he's one of the main reasons why the Boston Celtics had the second best record in the NBA last year. And now you just want to go away from him? I'm not trying to hear that. That's why there's a reason why GMs are GMs and fans are fans. Because you guys do things on impulse. And you guys think on impulse.
Yeah. Next one. From Brandon Dawkins again. I'm not doubting Jamal, but he takes a lot of bad shots, and history shows if he's not making them, he's a non-factor for the Nuggets offense.
That's not true that he takes a lot of bad shots. In fact, he's one of the better tough shot makers in the league. Not just in the Western Conference, not just guards. He's one of the tough shot makers in the league. He makes a lot of tough shots over guys. Just watching him in the playoffs last year, how much better he was than a lot of the other guys, going at guys, especially in the mid-range, shooting over the top of guys, being able to get to his spots and get shots off. And the stuff that he does, which I saw this season, just in the playoffs in particular, it wasn't detrimental to Cleveland. It wasn't detrimental to Denver. In fact, it enhanced their game. I'm not buying that. Nah.
Okay. From Jules. Chill. Considering who's on this year's Laker roster, what do you foresee LeBron averaging, and will AD have to lead the team in points per game to have success?
Well, last time Anthony Davis led the team in points per game, that was in the 1920 season. They won the NBA championship. He led them in points, led them in rebounds, and he led them in blocks. So if James could get back to that where Anthony, and that was the reason why James was able to take that role the way he took it, because Anthony Davis was healthy. So if Anthony Davis could stay healthy, James could get back into that distributor, playmaker role and score when necessary. Kind of like what Joker does in Denver. He can be that guy where he's getting guys like Austin Reeves, getting guys like D'Angelo Russell, getting guys like Rui Hachimura, getting those guys better shots and running the offense through Anthony Davis.
Okay. So chill. We were talking earlier about just so this new what is it called? It's a new deal.
Hold on, Big Bob. Paulo, just so you know, tough shots are not bad shots. If the defense is all over you, that's not a bad shot. Just because the defense is good, they can play good defense, but better offense beats good defense. So because you make a tough shot, that doesn't mean it was a bad shot. I could be in the mid-range and I can get to my spot and pull up on a guy who's on me and still make a tough shot over him. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad shot. But go ahead, Big Ox.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this super chat before I get back to that though. It just came in. I'm interested in this because Patty C wants to know. I know it's only week 1, but Brock Purdy looks like a vet and confident going out there. What are your expectations for him this season?
The same thing that they were last year. Just an extension of last year. Keep the offense rolling, minimize his mistakes. I felt like even before the playoffs started, I felt like he looked like the guy who was the most confident out of everybody, that it was his job to lose going into training camp. I felt like it was his job to lose, and he fits that offense. And I think that an extension of what was going on last year. I think he's won his last 8 games before he got hurt against Philadelphia. He's won 8 of his last 9 starts. So my expectations of him are exactly what I've been seeing. Stay steady, minimize his mistakes, keep the offense humming. I'm looking at 2,500, maybe 3,000 yards this season, and I could see 20, 25 touchdowns from him. I can see that.
Fire. Check out Brock. His little brother got in the game for a minute this weekend against was it Colorado? Yeah, I think he was on Nebraska.
His brother in college. I didn't know that.
Yeah. His brother's in college. Yeah.
Okay.
Sophomore. I was watching. I believe he plays for Nebraska. Yeah. He got in for a couple snaps. But yeah. So back to what I was saying. So I don't know what we call it, a deal. What the league just signed, or a new rule or whatever we'll call it. So basically, just a quick gist of it, they're kind of cutting down on how many stars you can rest and how long you can rest these stars, how many games you can rest them.
Right.
Let's get straight to the nitty-gritty, Chilltown. What does this mean for the NBA? Just plain and simple. What does this mean for the league?
This means that guys are going to have to come to work more. Now, the question is how can you enforce this? So in the CBA, there's a rule that's implemented that you can't rest 2 stars on the same night. And the reason why you can't rest 2 stars on the same night is because all of these nationally televised games, if these guys aren't playing, sponsorship is going to have a problem with that. The Lakers got 40 national television games this year. The Golden State Warriors got 41 national television games this year. Now, what constitutes a star? What constitutes a star is a guy who's been on the All-NBA team or the All-Star team in the last 3 years. Now, the question is how can you enforce this? Well, it's simple, to be honest with you, Big Ox. You could call in to work sick, Ox. You could do that. You could call in to work sick. You know what you can't do, Big Ox? You can't keep calling in to work sick. If you want to keep your job, you can't keep doing that. And at some point, not only do you get called on it, this becomes a problem, and now money starts to get taken away. So if you ain't playing, if you're not playing on this night, it would be the same logic if you went to work or you called out of work. You ain't getting paid that day. You're not. And that's going to see guys, which goes back to my original logic I was talking to you earlier, the fact that in order to be on the All-NBA team and to be on the All-League defensive team, the number of games goes up to 65. Big Ox, don't be surprised that these stars that you saw that were playing 47, 50 games, don't be surprised that them 50 games go up to 67 or 70 games. Don't be surprised. And the reason why I'm saying that is because a guy like Anthony Davis, who's got to watch Sabonis make the All NBA team, or
which he deserved to be on.
Which and he definitely had an argument, but when you got to watch guys like when you got to watch guys like Julius Randle make the All NBA team, which that's no slight to Julius Randle, but I'd like to think that there are some guys that are better than Julius Randle that could be all pros. So guys like Kawhi Leonard, guys like Paul George. When you got to watch these guys do that, then of course.
What are you implying here? Are you implying that these cats could be playing and they're choosing not to play?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
You're saying they're not hurt, they're resting.
Yes, a lot of these guys.
But are they uninterested in playing basketball? Are they trying to preserve their health? Are they lazy? Are they not? Are they just uninterested? What's the deal? Why are they not playing? If you're saying guys that play 42, 43, 44, 45 games are going to all of a sudden play 66, 67 games, Chilltown, that's not a coincidence.
No, it's not. It is not a coincidence. And I don't think it's that they're uninterested. I just think that it's not enforced. That's all. There's no incentive to not play. I'm still going to get paid anyway if I don't come to work. So, Big Ox, if you ain't got to come to work and you still going to get paid, are you going to come to work as much? Probably not. No. But if you now get a fire lit up under you, and that incentive is, Big Ox, if you don't come to work, you're not getting paid. And those incentives in your contract, those things are not going to happen for you if you don't come to work. Well, now there's a different level of intensity for me. I'm going to show up to work a little bit more. I'm going to do my job a lot better because there's money involved in it. And the idea of them being able to enforce this, it's going to work. Because, again, as your employer, you signed a contract. You made a commitment to work here. And with working here, you have to show up to work. And if you don't show up to work, the first offense is $100,000. That's the first offense. Second offense, 250 stacks. The third offense,
you or from the team?
The team, which is going to come out of your pocket.
Shit.
Yeah, which is going to come out of your pocket, Big Ox. Second offense, $250,000. Third offense, $1 million. And it's going to go up after that. Yes. Damn. And that's going to come out of your pocket.
So the league not playing?
No. And there are some stipulations, Big Ox, right? And there's some wiggle room. You know, Big Ox been in the league 14 years. He's 35 years old. Big Ox, you earn the right to have a couple of days off from time to time. You earn that right. But me, I've been in the league 4 years. I'm 23 years old. Bring your ass to work, Jay. Bring your ass to work. And if you can't work, there needs to be a substantiated reason why you can't work, and I need to see that. Why can't you show up? Why can't you show up to work? If you can't work today, okay, that's fine. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to tell me I can't work tomorrow, I can't work next week, and this is an ongoing trend throughout the season. Nah, because what's going to happen is now some of that money, I'm going to need to hold some of that.
Yo, real talk. What's up, man? Right there. What's up? How y'all feel about this?
Man, I was just about to type in the chat. Give me 30 seconds. I got to let somebody in real quick.
Right there. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we locked in. What's up, man? How you feel about this topic? Just next NBA MVP.
This the dude yesterday with the Superchats about Steph Curry. Just so
yes,
you know.
sir. Yes, sir.
What's Superchats about Steph Curry?
About Steph Curry, if he win the NBA championship, does that move him ahead of Kobe Bryant?
I just wanted to get
what you think right there. Does it move him ahead of Kobe Bryant?
No.
Kobe's pretty high for me, so no. But I think they're both top 10 personally. But in terms of this, I think 100% this is good for the league because I'm also one of those people where we're going a little too far with people sitting out, players sitting out. We kind of know what it is. Chill said it perfectly. If you're not incentivizing them, they're going to take advantage of that. You give them a rope, they're gonna take the full thing. I forgot the proper analogy for that. But
give a man an inch, he'll take a yard.
Exactly there. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. So it's good, and it's good the fact that they are saying 35-plus-year-old veterans that's been in the game, that are stars, that are superstars, get a much more lenient or don't really have to abide by the rule the same way. So,
Rodell, haven't you earned that right? I mean, you've been working somewhere 15 years, and you've been putting in for the last 15 years. I'm averaging, I don't know, let's say I'm averaging like 75 games. Well, damn, I'm in year 15, and I'm 36 years old. Haven't I earned the right to have a day off every once in a while, as opposed to every 3 months, I'm taking 2 days off every 3 months. Like, wait a minute, man, what's going on here? Why aren't you coming to work?
No, I 100% agree. One thing I would say in terms of MVP, I'm a big Luka Doncic guy. All right, so I think he's one of them ones. I think he's the next one. Appreciate Ox kind of standing up. It was surprised me. Ox was the only one standing up for the Mavericks today on the panel. Everybody thinking that they were about to fall out the playoffs, not gonna barely make the play-in. I'm like, bro, what are y'all talking about? This is Luka Doncic. This is Kyrie Irving, and the whole thing regarding the defense. I get it, but like the only piece they lost was Finney-Smith. And as for the defense back in 2 years ago, it was a team.
Rewind, Rodell. You said with Finney-Smith. I didn't get that last part. Say the last part you said about Finney-Smith. What
the
about
only
Finney-Smith?
defensive piece they lost for real was Finney-Smith. Sure, they lost Dinwiddie, but he wasn't a defender for real. So
Bullock wasn't a defender?
Bullock was a defender, but it's not like Josh Green can make up Reggie Bullock 100%. Josh Green is a dog. He can 100% make up Reggie Bullock defense, and he's much more athletic than Reggie Bullock, so he can probably be a better defender.
Who's a better defender between Grant Williams and Dorian Finney-Smith?
Oh, that's Finney-Smith. Let's keep it above. Finney-Smith, he's a little bit more versatile. But if we have Kleber healthy and
Grant Williams,
Finney-Smith as a defender is more versatile.
I think Grant has recently got like a bad rap because he got doghoused by Missoula in Boston. But I watch a lot of Boston games because JT my favorite player. And when Udoka was there, Grant spent a lot of time on Giannis. Grant spent a lot of time on the opposing team's best player. So, we'll see.
I'm having a difficult time with the logic that Finney-Smith could cover Giannis. I don't know if he could do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I thought Grant Williams did a damn good job. I thought he did a damn good job dealing with Giannis.
Yeah, but I think that's more of a size thing than a defensive versatility thing. Grant Williams is bigger than Finney-Smith at the end of the day. So it would be hard for him to guard him, but he would be able to guard someone that's a better ball handler than Grant Williams because he moves his feet better and he has better hands. So, Grant Williams will be there.
Rodell, my question to you is, when you're looking at the Dallas Mavericks, with losing both Bullock and Finney-Smith, and those guys were together for a little while, considering what they were defensively, and you think that Josh Green can make up for that, being new, like he's not acclimated to Jason Kidd and acclimated to that system, being new. Now you got both Irv and Luka who don't play defense. I mean, Irv will give you some effort. Luka doesn't really give you much effort defensively, but he's so good offensively that there's an exception for him. So because of that, do you have enough offense to make up for what you lost defensively?
Yeah, I 100% think so. And I think Kyrie Irving's an average defender, so I think he should be fine. I mean, you have Kyrie, Luka, Josh Green, like Kyrie, Tim Hardaway, if they're both on the floor, you could argue that Kyrie's a better defender than him. I'm just being honest, right? So with that said,
and Tim Hardaway?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know about that.
It's a mid-off. Like they say, it's a mid-off. It's really not, he ain't moving the needle. But honestly, when it comes to the offense, they'll be great. Luka has to give more effort, but Luka, even though he's not the greatest with his, feet, he's pretty slow-footed. He has great hands. Like Luka does have great hands. He does have great anticipation. So as long as he plays the passing lanes, as long as he makes it difficult, he can do his job enough. But the offense, I do think can be there if Luka and Kyrie now with a full off season, they can learn how to play with each other. Because I remember a perfect example when the Mavericks, one of the first times that they played together, it was the fourth quarter. The game is about to end. Kyrie and Luka kept on passing the ball to each other, not knowing who's going to take the final shot. Yeah. Like they had no idea how to play with each other.
Right. So, why does that change this season though?
They had a full offseason. They get familiar with each other. Obviously, Luka's going to grow another year playing with the Slovenia team on FIBA. I think he played better as a teammate. It wasn't just him isoing all the time, even though his talent versus the rest of the people, there's a gap. But they played well as a team. So Kyrie, Luka, offseason, Jason Kidd, new pieces. Yeah, they should be fine. They should be good.
So you think Luka's going to be better off the basketball this year than he's been in the past, even though this will probably be one of the first years. The last time I remember him playing off the ball was in the playoffs with Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
with Jalen Brunson. That's the last time I remember him playing off the basketball, and that's because he didn't play that much. So they kind of had to defer to him because Jalen Brunson had it going. So now he's got a guy in Kyrie Irving who he can go to, and he's not responsible solely for his offense like he's responsible for everybody else's. The question that I'm having for you, though, is I've never seen Luka play off the basketball for an extended period of time. That includes being in Europe. So with that being said, what kind of adjustment are we looking at with that? Because we're talking about a Dallas Maverick team coming into the Western Conference, which is much better this year than what it was last year.
So for me, when it comes down to Luka and Kyrie, and the playoffs is a perfect example with Jalen Brunson, although he was out a little bit. But I will say that Luka, even though he gets a bad rep in terms of the three-point shooting, more so because he takes terrible shots. Luka's a dog, but some of those step backs, he needs to cut it out. But he is a good shooter. Like, at the end of the day, he's a good shooter. He's a good three-point shooter. He will knock it down if a Kyrie Irving passes out to him. I do think they need to have there's some good mismatches you could do with Luka Doncic as well. No guard can guard him in the post. None of them. So you can play some good ball with him in the post. You can play good ball with him on the wing, on the separate wing from Kyrie Irving. And it's a good thing that Kyrie Irving's a good shooter as well. So Josh Green, at the same time, he's a good enough shooter, but he's also a good slasher. So you can have it where, Josh Green is making the proper slashes to the basket. You can have it where Kleber's obviously still spacing. Dwight Powell is going to be a liability. He's just going to be in the dunker spot, not really doing much, unfortunately. But I think there will be enough spacing and action from the other players for Luka and Kyrie not to be like doing nothing on the court, especially since Luka and Kyrie, I heard Pirates say this, and I don't agree. Sure, they're both scorers, but they score very differently. Luka does not score the same way that Kyrie Irving scores. They both can isolate, but Luka can dominate in the paint. He can dominate in the post and dominate littler guards. Obviously, Kyrie can just 1v1, mid-range, three-point range. It doesn't really matter. Go to the hole. So they can.
It's more action with Irv going to the. It's more action with Irv going to the rim than it is with Luka. I think that he plays better at the rim than Luka. And don't get me wrong, Luka plays in the mid post and in the mid range really good. But I think Irv, there's more action going to the rim. Now I will ask you this: when you're talking about this Dallas Maverick team, their biggest problem has been in the hole. So now you got this kid Derek Lively who looks like a project. He looks like a kid that. We don't know exactly what we're going to get from him. That's been one of your biggest problems because you got nothing from Dwight Powell from an offensive standpoint. Like if you could get a pick and dive guy, if you could get a pick and pop guy like that, then I think that helps Luka out tremendously. What are you going to get from your 5 spot?
I'm unsure about Derek Lively because he is a project. I do agree. Dwight Powell, I was never sold on. I've been disappointed in Dwight Powell for the last 2 years, so I can't really have faith in him. But I do like the acquisition of Rashawn Holmes, different from Christian Wood.
I love that too.
Who was
I like that
kind
too.
of a isolation scorer, didn't really do much besides that when he didn't have the ball in his hands. But Rashawn Holmes can grab rebounds.
We appreciate y'all for that, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll see what happens with the Lakers and Christian Wood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, championship. That's what's
brother. But I do like Rashawn Holmes. I do think he's a good big body. I don't remember if he's great as a lob threat, but at the very least, I know he's a body that is much more physical than Dwight Powell would be in the paint. Mm-hmm. But with that said, unless when like the Mavericks are playing small ball, because they do have Grant, they do have Kleber, they need another big. I do think they need another big to be a physical presence in the paint. I don't know why the JaVale McGee minutes didn't work personally, but they do need another big. But overall, that's more of a playoffs thing because the only teams that I can see dominating them like that are the Lakers and the Nuggets. I'm not really scared of any other big man Western team like that. You may bring up the Timberwolves, but we can eat up the Timberwolves. That we know their problems with Cat and Rudy Gobert on the floor. So Nuggets.
And Bruce Brown said that was their toughest matchup. He made that clear. That was their toughest matchup.
They
won the NBA championship
with Jokic, but Timberwolves against the Mavericks, I'm not so sure because they're going to spread all 5 of them out. Rudy Gobert.
I don't know, Riddell, because I'm thinking about that matchup. You have Ant and McDaniels as 2 POAs that can go on Luka and Kyrie, and if you can slow Luka and Kyrie down or at least make them work, that definitely hampers the Mavericks offense a lot, especially in the half court setting. And then when you flip it to the other end, I mean, I don't really know who's guarding Ant. I don't really know who's, Cat, as bad as we talk about him, I mean, he is like a 20 and 10 guy who can put the ball
For his
on the
career,
floor
by
as
the
a
way.
five and
For his
shoot the
career.
three. Like, I
For
don't
his
know. That's a
career.
bad matchup, in my opinion.
I don't agree because none of them are going to be able to stop Luka. Sorry. Jaden McDaniels is your best chance at the end of the day, but none of them really are going to be able to stop Luka and Kyrie. And my thing with the Cat, situation is that when it comes to Cat, what he likes to do is obviously shoot threes and then drive to the hole. But if you can feed off of Rudy Gobert, who's you're only so scared of Rudy Gobert, then you should be fine. And Josh Green can do good enough on Anthony Edwards to the point where it's not like he's eating every play. So I think they should be fine. It'll be a good matchup.
The idea of not stopping Kyrie Irving. I mean, what have you seen over the last 3 years to suggest that there's no stopping him?
Yeah, we do need to see Kyrie have like a good playoff translation year because it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Right.
He's great in the regular season.
Awesome.
Kyrie's one of my favorite players. But even me, I'm like, okay, Kyrie, we do need to see a great playoff run again. Just to
some consistency from you. How about some consistency from you? I mean, they got mopped against Boston in the playoffs. He had that one game. After that, he was pedestrian. He didn't play. He got hurt in 21 in the playoffs. He didn't play in 20. And Brooklyn actually made the playoffs that year. He didn't play in the bubble. They made the playoffs that year. So I'm thinking over the last 3 years. What have you seen? Don't get me wrong. From a talent standpoint, I feel like this is the same logic with Kevin Durant. From a talent standpoint, it looks fantastic. He still got the goods. I won't argue that. What I will argue is your best ability is your availability. If you are not available, then how can I really count on you? Add that to the fact that when you are available, you have underperformed. So I'm not sold on Kyrie Irving like that. That doesn't mean that he ain't nice. It's just that I need to see a little bit more of it because I haven't since he was with James. I haven't seen it.
And that's what I would say is that I don't think. Sorry, KD. I think this is going to be the best in terms of defensive pressure that Kyrie doesn't have to deal with since LeBron James, personally. Because KD is not the playmaker. He's not the passer that Luka is at the end of the day. And honestly, especially later on in the career versus in his peak, Luka is a more dominant playoff performer than Kevin Durant, especially in the last couple of years. So I think he would have a way better opportunity to get his stuff off with Luka than he did with Kevin Durant.
That's fair. Real talk. Did you have anything you wanted to get off when you came up?
Yeah. Well, as far as the title, are we speaking specifically next year, huh?
This season coming up.
I got Tatum winning it. I'm really big on Tatum. I think he takes another step in the right direction as far as on-ball playmaking. The footage of what I've seen from him this year as far as his workouts, and again, these are just clips, but it's a lot of work in the mid-range area. So I think if he utilizes it, and if you've been following Jason Tatum, because I think he was class of 2016 in high school anyway, my class, so I paid attention to the players, in my class. Tatum was known as a pro-style mid-range scorer already coming out of high school and at Duke. My question for Tatum coming into the league was, would he be able to shoot the three ball? And he's definitely shown the ability to do that. So if he gets back to
hearing this, Big Ox, are you listening, Big Ox? Are you listening to this? I just want to make sure if you're hearing this, Big Ox. Okay.
Yeah, he works out of the mid-range more, takes another playmaking leap. I got him winning MVP, and I also got him solidifying himself as a top 5 player. To me, and he won't be 5 for me, but there's just a lot of discussion around Tatum. Some people have him top 5. Some people say he's not top 10. I think this is the year that solidifies him as a top 5 player for sure. And I can name 20 players better than Jaylen Brown.
That's okay. I don't think that'll be necessary. Real talk. I don't think that'd be necessary at all. But I like to take Jason Tatum taking a step forward. I do wish they would have acquired somebody to come play that point guard position, like a Mike Conley that we had spoke about before at Chilltown. Somebody like that. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been really good for the Celtics. Just getting Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown off the ball is going to help that team a lot more. But
For sure. I think that could definitely help them because we've kind of because of
telling you, Big Ox. That mid range, I'm telling you, Big Ox, that mid range, you get that down. We talking about a top 3 player in the game for the next 5 to 8 years. I told you this a month ago, 2 months ago. Now all of a sudden, somebody else saying it. I'm glad. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep going.
It's just. Ox, I think the thing that's happened, like as far as the ball handling forwards, I think since Bron does it, it's kind of like become an expectation that if you're the best player and you're a wing, you also need to take on like a ball handling playmaker role. But that's not everybody's game. Like, especially if you're a wing, if you're a scorer, like that's why I don't like when, they really ask Kevin Durant to do it a lot. I don't like that because that's not really his game. He's a scorer. He should be the one coming off the pin down. He should be the one coming off the, you know what I'm saying? Not the one throwing it to the guy off the pin down. So it shouldn't be a requirement, but because they do put the ball in their hands so much, because they don't have that kind of point guard, it's definitely something that they need to improve on.
Yeah, that's fair. Breezy, you there? Still can't hear you, Breezy.
We had him.
All right, so we'll bring you back. Don't leave.
Let's see if we can get him back. So,
but all right, real talk. Appreciate you pulling up.
Talk to me, brother.
All right, Ox. All right, chill.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Cool. Let's get back to this list a little bit. Let's see where we at now. Yep. We are at Rookie of the Year. Let's get Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year.
The Rookie of the Year, Big Ox, I'm going to stay in Oklahoma City. I think that goes to Chet Holmgren. I think he gives them that rim protector that they ain't have. And I think that gives them that rebounder that they didn't have. The defense is going to be a lot better. I think that goes to Chet. And the Defensive Player of the Year, we just talked about Anthony Davis. I think it's Evan Mobley, though. I think Evan Mobley is the Defensive Player of the Year. I think it's between him and Anthony Davis. As good as Bam is, as good as Nick Claxton is, I think it's Evan Mobley.
Okay.
Yep.
That's okay. Wait, hold on. Matter of fact, let me pull it back up.
Yeah.
It's so you got Rookie of the Year, Chet, Defensive Player of the Year, Evan Mobley. Yep. Just to refresh y'all, we got Coach of the Year being Mark D from OKC. Most Improved Player, Anthony Edwards. Rookie of the Year, Chet Holmgren, and Defensive Player of the Year, Evan Mobley. Is there a chance that's one that maybe in the next couple of seasons we'll be talking about Chet for Defensive Player of the Year as well?
I don't know if he's going to be able to surpass Evan Mobley because the rim protector that Chet is, I do appreciate that, but the versatility is where I think is going to be the separator with Evan Mobley, being able to defend on the perimeter, being able to defend in the mid post, being that rim protector. I think that once he's able to put all of those things together, once Evan Mobley's able to put all those things together, I don't think that there's going to be a question between him and Chet Holmgren.
Now let me ask you, Chet, how does Chet get Rookie of the Year over Vic?
Over Wemby?
How does he manage to do that?
Well, one, I think that he's going to be in a different role. I mean, Wemby's going to be the guy that they need him to do anything, right? They need him to score in the post. They need him to rim protect. They need him to do a lot of stuff that I don't think he's going to be able to do. Chet, on the other hand, he's adding to what they already got. So they already got a lot of stuff. He's just going to add to that, which is going to magnify it, right? Now, if Wemby gets it, it's going to be because he was just incredible in year one. Chet, on the other hand, I'm looking at the way that Oklahoma City team is put together, and it's put together for him to be successful 100%.
Okay. Before we get back to bringing up some of the viewers, let's get back to these super chats. First, let me shout out our GOAT members. Actually, I would like to shout out Haramis MR, Terry, IDWC, and Avion Plumber. If you want to become a GOAT member, just click on that link down there. But to the super chats, which we never miss, because this is a W show and not an L show. If Giannis leaves in free agency, does he go to the Warriors, Mavs, Celtics, or Lakers?
I don't think he leaves in free agency, to be honest with you. I think the Milwaukee Bucks have done everything that they could possibly do to build that unit around him, and I think they're going to continue to do that. I don't think he leaves. I think he stays there. I think they're going to continue to get better, and whatever he needs, if they're going to have to completely fall off a cliff in order for him to walk away from Milwaukee. And if he does, and if he does, the Lakers, like for him to go to the Lakers with Giannis and Anthony Davis, I mean, that's the narrative that and James still there, even though he's still got 2 more years left on his deal. So it's not like he's up after the season. He's still got 2 more years left on his deal. He got this year and next year. So I don't think he's going anywhere. And by the time he does leave, let's just say for the sake of argument, he goes to the Lakers. I mean, I think James is going to be gone by that time, to be honest with you. I don't think James is going to play much longer. The Celtics, why would he get on the Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Porzingis? No, I don't think he does that. Yeah. No, I don't. But the Warriors also, I could see the Warriors because, in 2 years, that crew may look a lot different. Klay's going to be 35, and they might want to look to replace him. If it doesn't work in Milwaukee, he may look at the Bay Area like this is a great place to be.
Oh man, Chilltown. So the way that this season ended for the Bucks, I know there was injuries involved, but it was still a tragic ending. Mm-hmm. The way that ended, and if next year Chris Middleton is just getting hurt again, and they don't get, let's say if they don't get out of the second round, mm-hmm. I could see him not leaving a free agency, but trade.
Asking to get traded?
Yeah. I could see it go that way because it's at that point, it's like, y'all might as well get something for me. Because
to be honest with you, Big Ox, I wouldn't be surprised if they moved off of Middleton by the trade. If this thing isn't working, because they'll see, okay, going into the playoffs, how effective is this guy going to be? They may see that and go, all right, we need to make a move, just like they did with Bledsoe and Drew Holiday. Right. They may very well do that with Middleton and see if they could get something for him.
I can see that. I hope they make something happen over there. I would hate for him to lose Giannis. Mm-hmm. But King James came with another super chat. I believe he meant to say DFS for Dorian Finney-Smith defends guards better. Grant Williams is better with wings and bigs.
Yes.
That makes sense. That's fair, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jules, does Lively get any playing time this year?
Yes, he does. He's going to play. And how much he plays, at that part, I don't know. Because, again, I think he's a project, but he is going to play. And he's going to play early because I think Jason Kidd wants to see where he wants to see what he has with this guy. I do think that.
King James says, is Valanciunas worth a first for rebounding alone?
Yeah. Absolutely. But Valanciunas is a rebounder. If you're going to get a first, depending on who you move him for, if you're going to get a first, you got to go younger. You have to go younger.
Right. Jalen Green 2023-2024 season equals 1987 Jordan season.
Good luck with that.
Fine. Go ahead. Thanks for the super chat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
He changed it too, by the way. Before it was 1989 Jordan, which that's nuts to say that.
Oh man, we're getting to the top of the hour here. Let's just go ahead and finish off this list, Chilltown. We got 3 left. Let's get your MVP, your champs, and your finals MVP.
The MVP, I said it earlier, Big Ox. I'm big on Jason Tatum. I think he wins the league MVP this year. It's actually Jayson, but I think Jason Tatum wins the league MVP this year. He's been in the league MVP conversation last season. He finished top 4. I think he's right there. The champs, the road to the NBA championship goes through Denver. They got their core back. Joker's back. Aaron Gordon's back. MPJ is back. Murray is back. Let's see. KCP is back. Christian Brown, he's going to be better this season. So they got their core back. So with them having their core back, I think they're the team to beat in the Western Conference. If anybody has a shot to beat them, it remains to be seen. I think that they're the favorites in the Finals MVP. I could see Joker winning back-to-back Finals MVPs, and we're gonna have a different conversation.
What kind of conversation is that?
Back-to-back league MVPs, back-to-back Finals MVPs on a back-to-back champion. It's some conversation. Considering what Joker has done offensively, how good he is, we're gonna have to start talking about Joker a little bit different.
I can see that. So let's run down this list, Chilltown, for your 2023-2024 award predictions. Yep. Coach of the Year, Mark D. Most Improved Player, Anthony Edwards. Rookie of the Year, Chet Holmgren. Defensive Player of the Year, Evan Mobley. MVP, Jason Tatum. Champs, Denver Nuggets. And Finals MVP for the repeat, Nikola Jokic.
And Emilio, can you get something? Can you get something original and stop biting other people's rhymes? That's what you are. What we call where I'm from. You a biter. Can you get something original? Cap a lot records. How about you come up with something? How about you come up with something of your own?
Let me see who we got. Sebastian, what's up?
He coming up here to talk about the bullshit Cowboys. That's what he coming up here to talk about.
Oh, I'm not. But I could.
That's what he coming up here to talk about.
I wasn't, but I
coming
could.
up here to talk about the Cowboys. But
anyway. I wasn't. I already talked to you about them yesterday. I already said what I had to say.
So what you got? What you got, bro?
I love the new CBA regulations. I was gonna ask you guys if do you think that will make the Clippers possibly a playoff team? I mean, they made the playoffs, but do you think they could get to the semis, or how do you think they'll do?
I think they could get to the West Finals if they're healthy, but they haven't shown that they was healthy. So because they haven't shown that they was healthy, I'm out on the Clippers. I'm out. OUT out on the Clippers. I'm straight.
Wait,
because we've been doing it. We've been doing this dance.
Same old song and dance. I'm tired of it.
We've been doing this dance for the last 4 years. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Then next year, okay, I'm done. I'm sick of it. I've had it already. So
where's Kawhi's knees at? I don't even think he got knees at this point. You don't even got
until
knees
you show it to me. Until you do show it to me, I'm out. I'm out on the Clippers. OUT out.
You said you had the Thunder making the playoffs, right?
I think I don't just have them making the playoffs. I think they're a solid 6 seed. I do.
I'm with you, Joe. I'm with you.
Yep.
So of the teams that made the playoffs this past season, who misses out?
So let's see. If you put together, I think Memphis is going to take a dip, even though they're still going to be good. So that 4, 5, 6 spot, I'm not sure if Sacramento is going to be the 3 seed. They're going to be the 100 this year, and I'm really interested to see how they respond to being the 100. They kind of came out of nowhere last year, so the Western Conference is a lot better. I'm interested to see how they are the 100. I think Memphis takes a step back. They lost their point guard and they lost their small forward. Let's see. I'm not sold. Big Ox is sold on Phoenix. I'm not sold on Phoenix. I still think that I think that they're anywhere between 4 and 6, but I think that Oklahoma City team, I think that they're going to be a lot of trouble. So I think Memphis could be the odd man out.
Memphis?
Yes.
Actually, I think Memphis might have improved with Marcus Smart, even though Jaw's going to be out for, what was it, 20 games?
25 games. 25 games.
All right, Sebastian.
Yeah.
You're a pretty smart kid, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I need you to just answer this question for me. Tell the world. Now, I'm not saying you're a marine biologist or anything, but do you know?
He is, by the way.
Do you know of any animal of any animal in the wild or outside of the wild that hunts orca whales?
That hunts orca whales?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Only
other orcas.
Okay,
amongst themselves.
I'm just wondering because I mean the Kings being 100 sounds kind of wild to me, but
I believe in Sac. I think
like the beam, man, like the beam.
I think the only 2 teams that are like borderline outside the playoffs is between OKC and I think the Clippers actually, because of health. And I agree with that. One thing I saw to address this, Giannis took to the media and he said that although he was like happy with Milwaukee, if there's a situation for him to win the Larry O'Brien, he's gonna take it. So do you think there's a good chance he leaves, or
depending on what Milwaukee does? He's not gonna bounce just to bounce. Like he's not just gonna go jump on the Warriors if Milwaukee's still building a championship contender around him. And remember, when you are on a championship team, you still got to do your job, yo. Like I could put the pieces around you. You still got to do your job, though. And if they're putting these pieces around him and they're underperforming, and they're putting good pieces around him and they're underperforming and he's underperforming, that doesn't necessarily fall on them. That does not necessarily fall on them. So with that being said, him leaving, I look at him leaving Milwaukee like James leaving Cleveland the second time. If you leave, it ain't gonna be because we didn't do everything that we could to keep you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I definitely agree too. Not to, go ahead, Tux.
I was gonna say like at this point they got to make that move. I think Middleton might be the odd man out. Obviously, I think Drew, you keep him because for the defense and the two-way ability, and he's developed a bond with Giannis that he has with Chris Middleton. Unfortunately, Chris Middleton, to me, I feel like he's just going to regress. I think he's plateaued. There's really nothing that he provides extra anymore, and you have to make a move. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm really trying to talk to Portland, and I'm trying to get Dame over there. I think Dame with Giannis would be electric. I think.
You playing 2K right now, bro. Like, nah.
I was about to say, wait a minute. Let's take Dame off the table. Let's fill in the blank. Like, what about like would Jeremy Grant be good for that crew?
I think Jeremy Grant would be good for that crew, but we got to remember
that's redundancy, though. That's what
we got to hold on. We got to remember where Milwaukee came from since Giannis has won his first MVP and they first started being top in the East. When they first started getting out of first round, they went from Brogdon to DiVincenzo to Wesley Matthews. Mm-hmm. Where they guards at? Where they wings at?
To Bledsoe.
To
Drew Holiday.
Where they went, and now they pretty much sold on this same cast that's around Giannis that's clearly regressing. Like, where's the changes? Like, is it time to change the core?
I think one more season. And when I say one more season, I don't mean one more season where they're going to run the whole season and see how this goes. No. By the time we get to the trade deadline, if they don't like what they see, they expect a move to be made.
I think that, and that's part of the problem. I think they kept them dudes a little bit too long.
Too long. There we go, Leaf.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay,
no,
all right,
because Middleton. The reason why I'm saying that, Leaf, is because Middleton still has some value. So if you put Middleton on a crew like the Warriors, if you put Middleton on a crew like Minnesota, you can get something for him because he still has some good value. Now, if you trade him another year from now, another 2 years from now, I can get with that logic. But right now, I still think he's got some value.
Right.
Especially if by the time we get to the trade deadline,
I got pushback for that. I got pushback for that because the Middleton you talking about being on another team, we talking about his role being way reduced from what it is on the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, that's what we talking about. If you're talking about the Warriors, he's gonna be a vet probably, and getting rotation minutes probably off of reserves. We talking about.
I wouldn't give him reserves. No. I wouldn't say reserves. That's crazy. I don't think.
If he go to Minnesota,
like a second or third option.
If he go to Minnesota, is he starting over Ant or McDaniels? Hell no.
Yes,
McDaniels.
He'll start over McDaniels.
McDaniels is a rotation.
Yes, he will leave. Come on,
he will start.
Middleton is starting over him, and I think you lost in starting, and I think you confusing starting with minutes. McDaniels can play starter minutes. Don't leave that out. Don't think and Jalen McDaniels is good off the bench too.
Right.
But I think but the thing is, I think because of his defensive prowess, he can play key KEY starting minutes. That's the thing about it, bro. Like, and the thing is, with Middleton regressing, in terms of health and in terms of like what he's going to give you in season and athleticism. Yeah. So with the way he's regressing since that championship, you don't have no other choice. He's on the back end. We're talking about a 3-level scorer. And on this next team, he's most likely going to be coming off the bench.
We can still see this guy depending on where he goes. So if he's in Minnesota, I could see him being a starter, and I could see McDaniels playing starter minutes. with him playing starter minutes.
Yeah, I can see
he'll
that.
be playing. He'll be playing late in games. Middleton's going to be a guy who's past what he was 2 or 3 years ago. So he'll be a guy to come in and warm it up. And McDaniels would be the guy to close it out. It's not like he's the shooter. It's not like he's a shooter or anything like that. And it's not like he's a shooter or anything like that. I mean, when I think about Middleton, Middleton is still one of the better scorers. Right. The difference here is it's good if you're gonna get off of him now. So within the next 6 months, we got to get off of him now. True. We're not getting off of him in another year because that regressing you're talking about is just gonna get worse.
Let me ask you this. Hold on. Let me ask you this. Chill. Why Jeremy Grant? Why was that the first person that came to mind? Because in my opinion, you already have Bobby Portis, right? Mm-hmm. You already have enough big men. Why would you get this mobile 6'9" guy?
Versatility.
I understand the versatility part. I get it. Mm-hmm. But at the same token, offensively, what does he provide that but you need more of a guard. Like, in my opinion, you need someone to shot create for you guys. And Jeremy Grant, I mean, he can shot create, but it's not like top tier. You know what I mean? So that's why I was curious.
The shot creations come from two guys. The shot creations come from Giannis and they come from Jrue Holiday. So you need the hole that you're going to fill is you're going to fill that other wing spot, right? So if you fill in that other wing spot, Jeremy Grant is a 19-20 a game guy. So him playing alongside Giannis, and don't forget, he was on that Denver team that was in the Western Conference Championship. He was on that team. So
remember,
with him being on that
position, though, he didn't like that role.
He didn't like that role. And how's that been going for him in Portland?
Fair point.
That is a fair point. That is a fair point.
So with that being said, him jumping on that Milwaukee team and playing the third guy, right? Him playing the third guy and him giving him 17 to 20 a game. I think that helps them out. And I think that, and to be honest with you, for Middleton, I think that they hand him over. I do.
Middleton on his next team is Joe Johnson on the Utah Jazz. That's what he is. That's what I swear on my mother right here. Bro.
Stop, Lee.
Joe Johnson.
What happens is like you and me have conversations and I'm with you and then you'll say something wild as hell like that, right?
You gotta talk about everything.
Say something wild as hell and I'm with him. I'm with him. And then the next thing I know, he just drove off the cliff.
Hey, Hood Village. He is a terrorizer, man. He's terrorizing. He's here to terrorize you, Joe.
That's a serious question.
Raise up blood pressure. That's what he's here for.
Hold on, wait. I'm dead serious. Go back to them videos, bro, and go back to that first round when they played the Clippers. Joe Johnson was closing games for them off the bench. So I'm not. Listen,
so that's what Middleton. So Middleton, you just told me he's going to be in a reduced role. So now he's going to another team where not only is he not in a reduced role, he's going to be the closer. Leave. I'm telling you, 1 minute I was going to get paid. I was going to get paid.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Hey, you ever talk to somebody where the conversation is good and then all of a sudden they say something and then you like
fly off the cliff. Fly off the cliff.
Nah. Listen. Understand what I'm saying. If you go back to that year, Joe Johnson had to roll late in the year as the closer because Gordon Hayward, even though he was their best player, bro, he wasn't getting it done in the fourth. That was their best closer. Now, depending on what
here's the problem that we're having with that, Lee. You just told me that. You just told me that Middleton is going to go to a crew where he's going to be in a reduced role. I'm not in a reduced role if I'm the closer.
Right. That's not a reduced role, buddy.
Not necessarily, bro. Listen, you got to understand. As a closer, that means you're the best shot creator on the team. I understand that. But the thing is, as opposed to a starter, I don't see him starting on a Minnesota team with Jaden McDaniels and Ant-Man, bro. Like they gonna. He's probably gonna close the game.
Think about a dude coming in and shutting the door.
He's gonna close the game. Hold on. He's gonna close the game, but the minutes is what we worried about because he's not the same health-wise. So
even if that's true though, Lee, he's not coming in with 5 minutes left in the game to close the game. He's gonna have to play. And because he's gonna have to play, it means he's gonna have to have a bigger role. Meanwhile, you telling me he's gonna have to have a reduced role. That's not gonna work.
Because Rudy Gobert is not gonna be closing that game. Eventually the lineup would probably be right. It would be Mike Conley, Ant, probably Middleton at the 3. At the 4 will be McDaniels, and at the 5 will be Cat. That will be the closing lineup because you're not going to close with Rudy Gobert. I don't care what anybody says.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But listen, go back to that year when Joe Johnson was on Utah. And I swear on everything I love, man. That's Chris Middleton on his next team. I swear.
What in the blue hell are you talking about?
What is he talking about, Ticket? He's killing me on the I want to say 2 things before Leaf starts going off the deep end again. Hey, Ticket, what we doing, yo? Salute to how you guys chopped it up about that whole situation with
Ticket, this works than Juki.
That got her hands put on her, man.
I don't think it's that bad, bro. Like,
for the NBA. And Miles Bridges, shunned him like, yo, dog, you just seen what happened to me, my brother. Like, you just seen what happened to me. You saw what I just had to fight through, and you gonna do this.
Text Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges need to shut the hell up.
Yeah. He don't talk. He don't need to talk at
all. He need to keep his mouth.
That was cap, man. He didn't say that, man. That was cap, man. That was fake news.
He ain't say nothing. It was fake news.
All right, man. You got hit with the booty.
With the NBA, with the NBA section bullshit. Yeah.
What they call it? What they call it? Chilltown.
Butt crack sports.
That's crazy. Okay,
you got hit with the butt crack, man. If you think he was gonna say anything to put some heat on him, you had to be a damn. Y'all should have went and looked at his official.
Okay. I was like, damn, I didn't expect him to come out the woodwork and say something.
I was like, oh, I'm surprised. To know, man. Like, but yeah, you got hit with the butt crack sports.
He want to be as far away from that as possible.
Hey, chill. Let's ask how the small talk. I came here to talk to you about something, man, because all your little Ramon James fanatics are knocking my door down right now because this report came out that LeBron James was investigated by the DEA. And that he was found not guilty, R. Kelly style, for using PEDs. You didn't see that report that just came out?
No way.
Report just came out on ESPN while y'all was on live that LeBron James, he was notified in November that he had been under investigation by the DEA for the use of PEDs in the biggest PED scandal for the 2013 biogenesis situation. Yep. They ended up having 2 guys that's in LeBron James circle that got popped in a sting, and they got popped with a third guy. And they got popped by a third guy, and the third guy flipped on him. The third guy flipped on him when they got popped by the third guy, and he snitched on the 2 guys that was linked to LeBron. So what happened was the DEA investigated LeBron James because of the 2 dudes that was linked to him. One of them that works with the Lakers and also worked with the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron. One of them was his personal trainer, and the other one was his business manager. They both got tied up and popped up in this situation. But the DEA said they found no link to Yo King LeBron James, as in they saying that they didn't send him any PEDs in that 2013 biogenesis.
Why we having this conversation?
No, it just came out. It just came out today.
I was prepared for you to say, bro.
It just came out today, Chilltown. It just came out like an hour ago.
Ticket, I was prepared to hear you say they found everything up on LeBron, bro.
Yo, you would love that. Just so you know context.
I see Leaf already smiling.
He would love that.
You know his camera.
I'm not even smiling, bro. I'm dead serious, bro. Everybody in this party know how I feel about him, bro. Like, I ain't hiding shit. You already know that. I'm not hiding a damn thing. Bobby, what happened to your head?
Yeah, I know. Hey, Chill feel good now. Hey, Chill feel good now, boy. I know Chill feel real good now. Chill gonna walk around here. Bob, Chill finna walk around here. He finna walk around here with the goddamn on. He finna walk around here with the Fred Sanford walk. Now he finna walk around here like he on swag now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but they
Ticket, Jalen pulled out the blazer. He pulled out the blazer.
Jalen. His pants finna be wet off this.
If that news went the way I want to, I was getting everybody.
Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. No,
you have now going to the left side.
Hey, but look, here's the thing though.
I'm about to move a couple of y'all out. Y'all appreciate y'all pulling up.
Hey, Bob, here's the thing though. Here's the thing,
JT, man.
I gotta come to Seattle, bro. Yo, they beating you up out there. What's going on, man?
I told Bob I'll get on the flight, but now he ain't nothing to do with that.
Man, chill. They did it. Chill. I'm telling you what they did, man. They put him in the 2 dudes flipped. I mean, one dude flipped on him. On the other 2 dudes that was linked to LeBron, But the DEA been investigating him all this time, and he finally found out he was getting investigated, and they said that they did not found no connection to those guys giving LeBron PEDs. But the only thing they did, So they said the only thing they did find was the guys beside him. So yeah, that story's official now. And they said LeBron didn't know the whole time. He was notified in November that they were investigating.
Right.
What's up though? Who's that? Quello.
Miss.
Hi. Hi, my name is Vanessa.
What's up, Vanessa? How are you?
I'm good. So I'm very new to basketball, and I just wanted to know, who do you think that I should watch for defense? And also, do you think that Jaren Jackson Jr. is overrated?
I do think he's overrated, first of all. And number two, in terms of defense for a guard, if you go back and look up some film of Becky Hammond, she'll show you how to play defense. She'll definitely show you how to get in a stance, keep your hands busy, keep your feet moving. I think she's a good guard that you could check out and watch her and watch her game. And if you could defend, especially in basketball, I don't care where you play. If you could defend and you could rebound, they will find a spot for you, no matter where it is.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Showtime, you think Jaren Jackson's overrated?
Yes, I do. Big Oxy on rebound. He doesn't rebound. How are you considered one of the best or the defensive player of the year as a front court player and you average 6 rebounds? You don't 7 rebounds. You don't rebound. No.
Vanessa, what made you ask that question?
Did we lose her?
I think so. I'm not sure. But what's up, Breezy? Nick, what's up?
I know Nick was here first. I'll wait till you say something.
What up? Maria, we got to be honest. I know that Memphis is your crew, and I'm all over that. And right, I know Memphis is your crew, Maria, and you know how I feel about Marcus Smart. I know Memphis is your crew, but we got to be honest about it, right? We got to be honest about the Memphis Grizzlies. We got to be honest about a big guy. If you play in the front court as a front court player, if you do not rebound at a high level, being a defensive player of the year, I can't talk about you like I talk about the all-time greats. I can't do that.
Facts.
No.
Rob.
Yo.
What up, Breezy?
Yo, what up, Chill, man? I've been trying to get back here for a while, but first thing I wanted to say was, can y'all hear me?
Yes, you out. Yeah, you out.
Oh, I just heard something in the background. My fault.
No, you good.
I wanted to ask, I was going to ask a lot, but before I leave, because I know it get crowded, I wanted to ask you, can you put on your referee hat for a second? Because I know you said you was a referee for like 4 or 5 years, right?
5 years, yes, sir. I repped at the JUCO and the D3 level.
All right. So in your opinion, from that perspective, watching the NBA, do you feel like the new thing they did helped the NBA as far as rules change for the referees? I mean, that's not necessarily a referee thing. That's an NBA thing. But from a referee standpoint, do you feel like there was transitions where, as a referee, you feel like the game got better for the NBA?
Now, just so you know, there's a reason why the whistle doesn't blow as much for LeBron James. When I say when I say it doesn't blow, I'm talking about on the defensive end. There's a reason why the whistle doesn't blow as much for LeBron James or Jason Tatum or Joker or Joel Embiid. And the reason why is because these people pay a lot of money to come see these guys. And the last thing that we want is for a guy to be sitting on the sideline when you got a guy who paid $800 to come watch him. So there's a call that you might get where let's say as one of the officials, I'm in the seat. That's the guy that stands at the free throw line of the 3 officials. You see the guy on the baseline, you see the guy at the free throw line, and you see the guy close to the half court. That's the trail official. So if I'm in the seat position, that's the center, and I'm watching the action between, let's say, LeBron James or not LeBron James, let's say Joker and another big. And if this guy's roughing up Joker, I might have to blow the whistle in favor of Joker to keep Joker on the floor. I got to make sure that Joker stays on the floor because again, it is a numbers game, and a lot of these guys have to stay on the floor. Don't get me wrong. You had that scandal with the referees where these guys got to clean the game up and you got to call the game as fair as possible. What I can't have though is I can't have stars on the bench early and often. That just looks bad.
All right, one more question.
I think it's going to be good for the NBA. With having stars play more, I think the quality of the game is going to go up.
All right, that's what's up. Just one more question. Because the title of your show, you said who I think going to be, or who we think going to be the MVP. So I wanted to ask, when you decide that, in your opinion, do you factor in them getting to the free throw line? Because what I'm saying that to say, I favor the player that scores most of their points from the field goal opposed to the free throw line, like a Joel Embiid opposed to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or something.
I want to make sure I'm understanding your question, Breezy. Do I favor who?
I'm asking, like, when it comes down to deciding who's the MVP, right? Because you see how Joel Embiid was the MVP last year, and then he went to the playoffs and he stunk it up.
Right.
So I'm saying that to say he got a lot of his points from the free throw line. So in my opinion, that was a big part of his offense, and I don't want to see the MVP go to somebody who's known for getting a lot of points because of the free throw line. Now, it does count, but I just don't think it counts more than someone who's more efficient with field goals.
Right, that's fair too, and it depends on where you're getting it at. So if I'm a big and I'm getting fouled a lot around the rim, as opposed to I'm begging for fouls on the perimeter, those two things don't work, right? If I'm a big and I'm playing on the block, if I'm getting to the line by getting hit going to the basket, and I'm more aggressive on the glass, we're getting putbacks and getting fouled. That's different. Where I'm getting 7, 8, 9 free throws, and 5 of them come from stuff like that. That's different than me being 18 feet away from the basket and I'm trying to do step back pull-ups and I'm begging for fouls.
Nah, that's what's up. Nah, I appreciate you. So just one last thing I just wanted to say is that I think DFS got a high upside. I know he didn't play great in those. I heard y'all talking about him earlier in the show. I know he didn't play great in those last 28 games, but I think the Brooklyn Nets keep him because of his high upside. And he's a big body, prototype wise. You don't want to lose somebody like that for anybody. And they saying that he's a good defender, and we're gonna need that on the Brooklyn Nets. So So my question is, do you think that DFS has a high upside for the Brooklyn Nets next season?
Yes, I do. I think that he's gonna be great on the perimeter for you guys as a defender, right? And as a guy who can make open shots. Absolutely, I think he's gonna be real good for y'all. 100%.
Breezy.
Nah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. What up, Big Alex?
What's your projection for the Nets next season, like seed wise, playoff wise?
Seed wise, I got us tough at 6. I got us a tough 6. I got us toggling between 6 and 7, and I got us in some part of the season holding 5th for maybe, I don't know, a week or 2 or something like that. But for the most part, I got us holding strong at 6, toggle between 6 and 7 and 5 a little, but a strong 6.
Okay, that's fair.
Hold that thought for a second. I got a guy in the chat. The basketball goats from Philly, Kobe and Wilt. So first of all, we already know that this is a guy who's a Kobe guy, and he knows this is how he's coming at me. So we already know what this is, Big Ox, right? So let's start with the conversation by saying this guy says, stop letting Chill flex and lie, talking about JJ doesn't rebound because his defensive rebounding is a part of him being defensive specialist. Also, Draymond doesn't rebound, but you hype him up. First and foremost, I hype Draymond up as a Hall of Fame player. I don't hype him up as a rebounder. That's number 1. Number 2, you mentioned 5 rebounds and 6. You mentioned 6 rebounds and 5 of them being defensive rebounds. My man, that's 1 rebound a quarter. Give me a break. What are you talking about? That's 1 rebound a quarter. If you're an elite rebounder getting 1 rebound a quarter, who is lying? I'm not. And I'm sorry that I'm not getting emotional. This is me just being animated. When you're talking about a guy who rebounds the basketball, you're talking about a force on the backboard, like Olajuwon. You're talking about a force on the backboard. Rudy Gobert, 3 of the 6 years when he won Defensive Player of the Year, he averaged almost 14 boards a game. Almost 14 rebounds a game. If you're going to be a presence in the paint, the last line of defense as a big is to rebound. And if he's going to be on the front line, which, by the way, he plays the 4 with Steven Adams playing 5, that is the dirty work guy. That is the guy who rebounds more than anybody. Now, that doesn't relinquish the 5 men from rebounding, but the fact that you don't rebound, 7 rebounds, that's less than 2 rebounds a quarter. So don't tell me that I'm lying. Go do your homework, sir. I'm sorry, Big Ox.
It's all good, man. Y'all make sure y'all get y'all homework done. You heard it here. Let me check real quick. Make sure we did. Oh, no. Got a couple more super chats. We One from Taco 101. Is longevity in any sport a double-edged sword?
It's crazy that you mentioned that, Taco, because I never heard of doing something great for a long time being a bad thing. Never. That has never been a question anywhere. Like, Big Ox, can you imagine me criticizing you for being great at your job for a long time? Come on, man, we can't do that.
No, that's crazy. Let me see. From Seth Malone. Yo, Ox, you good? Asking because of the bandage on your head. This bandage, it's not a thing, y'all. Don't worry about me. I'm strong as an ox. I'll be all right. But yeah, so we got through that one. It was a great show, like always. We seen your you know what? Hold on. Actually, let me not end it yet. Let me review that list one more time. Let's let the people see it before they go on with their day. Got it right here. Chilltown. Oh, okay. Chilltown's 2023-2024 NBA season award predictions for this upcoming season. We have for the coach of the year, we have Coach Mark D from OKC. For the most improved player, we have none other than Anthony Edwards. Rookie of the year, we're going with Chet Holmgren over Victor Wembanyama. Defensive player of the year, we're going Evan Mobley. MVP, Jason Tatum. The champs, the Denver Nuggets. And a repeat finals MVP, Nikola Jokic. That's what we're going with.
They're the team to beat right now. So that's what it is. Oh, we got another super chat.
From none other than the GOAT, Angie Carr. W show always. Get your cardio up. Peace. Player's Choice Gridiron tonight. What's tonight?
Wednesday.
8 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. So it is tonight?
Yes,
Gridiron?
9 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yep. Gridiron tonight. So I'll make sure y'all tap into that.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's football season, so let's get to it. FIFA boy, no graveyard shift. There's definitely a graveyard shift tonight. FIFA boys, it's Wednesday. But all right, y'all know what to do, man. Never drink and drive. Call an Uber, call a Lyft, call a cab. If you're in my region, call me.
That's right. Call your mother too, by the way. Put on a suit and love yourself. And until then, take it light, but take it.
All right, y'all.